What if I told you that the Buddha who holds the power to heal isn't promising you a perfect body, but something far more radical? What if healing isn't about fixing what's broken, but about fundamentally transforming how you experience brokenness? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of Buddhism's most fascinating and least understood Buddhas, Bhaisajyaguru, the Medicine Buddha. And we're exploring something that will completely shift how you think about health, sickness, and the nature of suffering itself. Pause for effect. If you're already familiar with Buddhism, you might know the Buddha we call Shakyamuni, the historical Buddha who sat under the Bodhi tree. But the Buddhist universe doesn't stop there. It's vast. It's populated by countless Buddhas, each representing different aspects of enlightenment. And the Medicine Buddha, he represents something that speaks to every single one of us who has ever felt pain, anxiety, or the fear that something might be wrong with us. So stick around as we unpack the beautiful paradox at the heart of Bhaisajyaguru's teachings, and why the path to healing might look nothing like you expect. Section 1. Introducing the Medicine Buddha. Speak with reverence and curiosity. Let's start with who this Buddha actually is. In Mahāyāna Buddhism, particularly in East Asian traditions like Tibetan Buddhism and Pure Land Buddhism, Bhaisajyaguru, whose name literally means Master of Healing or Medicine King, stands as one of the most beloved and most invoked Buddhas. His presence stretches across centuries, from ancient Sanskrit texts to the temples of Japan, China, and Tibet. According to Buddhist scriptures, in a previous lifetime before achieving Buddhahood, Bhaisajyaguru made 12 great vows. These weren't vows like "I will cure all diseases" or "I will make everyone healthy." No, his vows were far more sophisticated. They were vows about consciousness, about awareness, about healing the deepest sickness of all, the sickness of ignorance itself. Lean in with emphasis. This is crucial. The Medicine Buddha doesn't heal the way a doctor heals. He heals the way truth heals. He heals the way understanding heals. In Buddhist art, the Medicine Buddha is typically depicted in deep blue or Lapis Lazuli color, representing both medicine and the cool, soothing quality of healing. In one hand, he holds a healing herb, representing the remedy. In the other hand, he holds a medicine bowl, representing the offering of healing to all beings. But notice something. The medicine isn't physical medicine. It's the medicine of wisdom. It's the antidote to delusion. Section 2. The 12 Vows. Speak thoughtfully and deliberately. To understand what makes the Medicine Buddha so powerful, we need to understand his 12 vows. These vows tell us everything about what he's actually promising us. His first vow was to become enlightened and to illuminate countless realms, to make enlightenment visible. But here's where it gets interesting. His sixth vow was dedicated to those with physical disabilities, deformities, or limitations. But even when addressing physical suffering, his solution wasn't magical healing. It was the capacity to see oneself as beautiful, complete, and whole, even in a limited body. It was about healing the mind that judges the body. His seventh vow concerned those suffering from disease and illness. But listen to what he promised. Not that diseases wouldn't arise, but that those afflicted would have the wisdom and strength to face them. He vowed to help people access courage, resilience, and understanding when illness comes. His ninth vow, he promised to help those addicted to destructive substances and behaviors find liberation, not by forcing them to change, but by awakening them to the true nature of their suffering, to show them the way out. Pause meaningfully. Do you see the pattern? The Medicine Buddha's healing is always about awakening. It's about seeing reality more clearly, which paradoxically makes us less attached to wanting reality to be different than it is. This is the illusion we need to talk about. Section 3. The illusion of healing. Speak with gentle directness. Here's what we usually think healing means. We're broken and we need to be fixed. There's something wrong with us, physically, mentally, emotionally, and healing means making that wrongness go away. This belief is so deep, We spend billions of dollars on it. We build entire industries around it. And I'm not here to say that medicine, therapy, and care are bad. They're not. They're necessary and valuable. But there's something deeper happening beneath all our healing efforts, and it's an illusion we rarely examine. The illusion is this, that our ultimate peace depends on circumstances changing. We think once I'm healthy, I'll be okay. Once I'm rich enough, I'll feel secure. Once people understand me, I'll be happy. Once my body looks right, I'll love myself. But here's what the medicine Buddha teaches. What if true healing isn't about circumstances changing? What if it's about your relationship to circumstances changing? Speak with conviction. Think about the people you know who seem most at peace. Are they necessarily the healthiest, the wealthiest, the most physically beautiful? No. Some of the most peaceful people I've encountered were dealing with serious illnesses, financial constraints, or bodies that didn't match the cultural ideal. What they had wasn't an absence of problems. They had perspective. They had healed something far deeper than their body or their bank account. They had healed their relationship with reality itself. The medicine Buddha's greatest gift isn't that he makes illness disappear. It's that he teaches us to stop making our well-being dependent on illness disappearing. That's the radical healing. Section 4. Applying the medicine. Speak practically and engagingly. Okay, so how do we actually work with this? How do we access the medicine Buddha's teachings in our own lives? In Tibetan Buddhist practice, there's a meditation on the medicine Buddha that's thousands of years old, and it's remarkable because of how it works. People don't just visualize healing, they work with their perception of illness. Here's how it goes, simplified. First, you acknowledge your illness or suffering honestly. You don't deny it. In Buddhism, pretending problems don't exist is just as deluded as thinking problems define you. You look directly at your pain. Then you visualize the medicine Buddha, usually above you, radiating brilliant blue light. And from his heart, healing light descends. But, and this is the key, that light isn't erasing your symptoms. It's illuminating them. It's showing you their true nature. Here's the radical part, the illness you're experiencing. Buddhists teach that it's not fundamentally real in the way you think it is. This doesn't mean it's not happening. It means it's not independent. It's not solid. It's interconnected with everything else. It arose because of conditions, and when conditions change, it will pass. Speak with depth. This transforms your relationship to suffering. Instead of, "This is happening to me and it's ruining my life," you start to experience, "This is arising in this moment, it's interconnected with everything and I'm not separate from it. So what's actually being harmed?" The medicine Buddha's medicine is the medicine of wisdom. And wisdom says, the part of you that's aware of pain, that's observing discomfort, that's noticing limitation, that part is untouched. That part is already whole. Section 5. Beyond positive thinking. Speak with nuance. Now, I want to be really clear about something. This teaching isn't about positive thinking. It's not about pretending your problems don't exist or about manifesting your way out of illness through sheer force of will. There's actually a term in Buddhism called spiritual bypassing, and it means using spiritual ideas to avoid dealing with reality. Someone in chronic pain doesn't need you to tell them to just meditate and transcend it. That's cruel, and it's not what the medicine Buddha teaches. The medicine Buddha teaches acceptance first, honest acknowledgement. You sit with the pain, you don't immediately try to transcend it. That's bypassing. Real healing in the Buddhist tradition looks like this. First, you acknowledge and treat the physical. If you're sick, see a doctor. If you're depressed, get therapy. If you're addicted, get support. The medicine Buddha vows include helping people find these resources. Second, you acknowledge the mental and emotional dimensions. Pain isn't just physical sensation. It's entangled with fear, resistance, story-making, and judgment. The medicine Buddha addresses this layer. Third, you begin to question the deepest illusion. that you are fundamentally broken, fundamentally separate, fundamentally at war with reality. And this is where the real medicine works. Speak with warmth. It's not either or, it's both and. Your body matters, treatment matters. And simultaneously, the way your mind interprets your experience also shapes your suffering profoundly. Section 6. The deeper meaning. Speak with philosophical depth. Here's something many people miss about Eastern philosophy. When Buddhists talk about illusion, they're not saying reality is fake. They're saying that our habitual way of perceiving reality is distorted. We're living in an illusion about who we are. We think we're separate, solid, autonomous beings who can be broken or fixed in isolation. But the medicine Buddha's teaching suggests something different. You're not separate from the universe. Your illness isn't a flaw in you. It's a natural process arising in a complex web of causes and conditions. Your body isn't fundamentally you. It's a temporary arrangement of elements. When you really get this, not just intellectually but experientially, something shifts. You stop being at war with your own body. You stop seeing illness as a personal failure. Speak meaningfully. And here's what's remarkable. When you stop being at war with your illness, the suffering of the illness often decreases significantly. Not because the symptoms vanish, but because the secondary layer of suffering, the mental struggle against what's happening, falls away. This is why the medicine Buddha is still invoked in Buddhist communities today, not just for physical healing, but for all kinds of healing. People invoke him when dealing with depression, addiction, relationship breakdown, existential crisis. Because the medicine is the same. It's the medicine of wisdom, of perspective, of seeing clearly. Section 7. Bringing it home. Speak with personal warmth and directness. So what does all this mean for you, right now in your life? Whether you're dealing with chronic illness, acute health concerns, anxiety, depression, or just the general disease that comes with being a human being in modern times, the medicine Buddha's teaching is relevant. And it says something like this: your fundamental wholeness is not dependent on your circumstances changing. You can work on changing circumstances, that's wisdom. But your peace, your worth, your essential okayness, that doesn't come from circumstances. It comes from understanding, from seeing clearly, from recognizing that what you actually are, awareness, consciousness, the capacity to experience, is not broken, not limited, not dependent on anything external. Speak with genuine care. When you access that, even partially, something opens up. Treatment becomes less fraught with desperation. Self-care becomes less about desperate self-improvement and more about genuine kindness. You can take antibiotics and recognize the deep intelligence of your body. You can go to therapy and recognize your fundamental okayness. You can work toward health and accept that you're already whole. That's the healing the medicine Buddha offers.